Sanders' campaign is tripping. I don't know how to say. The Sanders advisors, the campaign, his allies, whatever you want to call them, they're tripping. They're tripping. So I had said about a week ago, about a week ago, babe, about a week ago. My wife is listening, that's why I said that. But about a week and a half ago, I said that I was informed by one of my connects in the campaign that Bernie was considering dropping out. And his fundraising at that point had stopped. His TV interviews had ceased. He wasn't updating people. His staff wasn't putting a call to action. So it's highly likely that he was planning on stopping. Then Biden opened his mouth. And it seems to me that once Biden opened his mouth and the world, because now everybody's focused. Everybody's hyper-focused on just Biden and Bernie and Trump, respectively, because of this coronavirus crisis, because of Biden's clear absence for almost the entirety of the crisis, especially in the beginning. Like now people are paying attention and Biden was forced to open his mouth, and Biden sounds like he's trying to give an explanation on the complexities of dealing with a pandemic like the coronavirus with mashed potatoes in his mouth and in his brain. It sounds horrible, and I think that's what probably changed Bernie Sanders' mind. Now, unfortunately, it seems like for some of those quote-unquote senior advisors, it did not change their mind. They're still encouraging Bernie Sanders to fall out, and this was initially reported by the Washington Post, and it was reported again in The Hill. So unfortunately, it looks like this is the reality. It says that the Sanders campaign manager and advisors urge him to drop out the presidential race. The article says Senator Bernie Sanders, campaign manager, and other top advisors are urging him to consider dropping out of the Democratic presidential primary. The Washington Post reported this on Saturday. Campaign manager Faiz Shakir and Sanders ally Representative Pramila Jayapal have reportedly come out in favor of exiting the race. Political strategist Jeff Weaver, a longtime Sanders ally, has also made the case for dropping out, saying an exit now would leave the Vermont senator on friendlier terms with his rival Joe Biden and secure more leverage for negotiations over the Democrats' political platform. Sanders said he was taking a hard look at the campaign's future on Friday in an interview with MSNBC. The senator is reportedly waiting to make a decision until after the Wisconsin primary on Tuesday, which Sanders won in 2016, but where Biden now has an average 18-point lead, according to Real Clear Politics. So, let me be clear about something. It would be absolutely idiotic for Bernie to drop out right now. Like, I'm not talking about this as a person who supports Bernie's policies and supports his candidacy against Joe Biden. I'm not saying this as a person who dislikes Joe Biden. I'm saying this as an objective observer. You are one of two candidates left in the Democratic presidential primary. One of those candidates cannot formulate coherent sentences. Let me read. You're one of two candidates. 50% of the candidates can't form a coherent sentence. 50% of the candidates. Two left, 50% of them. You're the other 50%. So you got 50% can't form a coherent sentence. You're the other 50%. One candidate has a sexual, not by the way, not the only one of like what, 8 now, but most recently, one of them has a sexual assault allegation against them. And because which we're going to talk about a little bit today, Alyssa Milano, every time she opens her mouth, it reminds the world of just how hypocritical the Democrats have been, how easy it is to expose the silence of this issue, and how the Democrats may make it seem like it's okay to be silent on this issue, but the reality of the situation is Donald Trump is going to fucking dismantle Joe Biden over this sexual assault allegation. And the Republicans will dismantle Joe Biden over these sexual assault allegations. Why? Because every time there was a sexual assault allegation against the Republicans, whether or not it was true, I'm not really here to litigate that, but I'm saying whether or not it was true, they just went for the jugular every time. If there was even an accusation, whether it be with Kavanaugh, whether it be with Trump, whether it be whoever, they immediately went to destroy them. Remember? With Weinstein, they tried to protect him initially. With Trump, they tried to destroy him. But Weinstein's a good Democrat, so there's a difference. But Trump ain't about to play that. Trump is not about to play that. His allies are not about to play that. The Republican Party is not about to play that. The GOP isn't going to play that. The Libertarians are not going to play that. The progressive wing of the Democratic Party is not going to play that. The Green Party is going to. We have from now into November to remind the world every single day Donald Trump is an alleged sexual assaulter, and that's important to understand. But the most important thing is he's an alleged sexual assaulter, but refuses to even acknowledge the person who is pouring out her heart and soul as a victim. Didn't even, because I get it. Obviously, if you don't feel like you were guilty, strategically, you wouldn't even say it anyway. But at least acknowledge the woman. Like, you know what? I think that maybe there was some miscommunication, but if she feels like she's a victim, maybe we should have a conversation about it. Maybe, you know, I will be open to engaging in any court appearances or to make, if there is justice to be brought, then it should be brought. Because unfortunately, reality situation is not like he would have been found guilty, because there's just too much time in between the case, and there are women who turn rape kits in like the next day, where their rapists are let go, like the next, like the case is dropped. It's not like he would have been actually sent to jail. You're a politician, let's be honest. They don't get held to the same standards as us normal people. You're not gonna get held to that same standard. But bro, you can't even acknowledge this. And what's going to make it so bad, ladies and gentlemen, is that now Joe Biden has become a cancer to the party in a way that Bernie Sanders as a candidate is not. Because every person who will, not might, kind of, potentially, no, they will absolutely endorse Joe Biden. They absolutely will campaign for Joe Biden if they have a D by their name. There's only maybe, you know, at least the ones in the spotlight. The only one I know that probably isn't going to campaign for him is Tulsi. Like that has that type of spotlight. The only one that's not going to make comparisons between Joe Biden and Trump is probably Tulsi. Like that, once again, that has that type of platform. But every presidential candidate, other than Tulsi and Mike Gravel, of course, will be advocating for Joe Biden. AOC will advocate for Joe Biden. It's going to break my heart, but pretty sure Ilhan Omar is probably going to advocate for Joe Biden as well. And the rest of the squad, Pramila Jayapal is absolutely going to. Everybody, and guess what happens now? Now Joe Biden is putting at risk the seats of other Democrats in the House and the Senate. Because in order to endorse Joe Biden, you got to do this on sexual assault. You got to do this. Every time Tara Reid talks, you got to go like this. What? Y'all hear that? Oh God, I can't hear. Somebody turn it up. Somebody tell her to put the hashtag Me Too. Maybe they'll see it. That's what you have to do, right? AOC's made it clear that's what she's going to support the nominee. She's going to support Joe Biden specifically. She's made that clear. And you are going to have to look the other way and then expect Trump to not call you out and expect the Republicans to not call you out. Am I right or am I right? So what happens at that point when you got to go toe-to-toe with Trump and Republicans in these gubernatorial elections that are coming up, in these state legislatures and congressional elections that are about to be underway? What do? You know what you could do? You could not support the alleged rapist. You could not support the candidate who is showing some clear signs of dementia. What you could do is not support the corrupt asshole, the one who admits he will veto Medicare for all. What you could do instead is build a coalition. Because luckily, this is one thing that we have going for us, or at least they have going for them, is that AOC, Bernie, Elon, even Ayanna Presley, Pramila Jayapal, y'all have a combined microphone that is so loud that you could just make a stand right now. Encourage Bernie Sanders to stay in the race and say, you know what? We're not going to allow, this is them, I'm not a Democrat, but if this is what they wanted to say, this would be the intelligent thing to do, this is the strategic thing to do. We are not going to allow the Democratic Party to be destroyed by Donald Trump and the GOP by selecting a Republican who is more conservative than 50% of the Republicans who are in office and has twice as many allegations as 75% of them. We're not going to allow a party to be destroyed by selecting not the worst of two evils, but just evil, because that's what Joe Biden is. We are not going to let them hold this party hostage and set us up for failure anymore. And so if there are political consequences, so be it. If there are political consequences, so be it. But there is an incentive, speaking of political consequences, there is an incentive that people like Jayapal, Jeff Weaver, Faiz Shakir, and others have for asking Bernie Sanders to drop out. So they can't go take jobs with that little campaign over there. They can't get some of that free money. Wouldn't you love to be a campaign staffer for Joe Biden? You don't got to do nothing. He didn't even campaign in California. Didn't really campaign in South Carolina. Didn't campaign in Florida. Imagine getting paid $10,000 a month, $6,000, whatever, to literally not do anything. A lot of people and that left Bernie's campaign in 2016 ended up on Hillary Clinton's campaign doing just that, getting paid to do nothing. They want to end this campaign so they can go back to being blue no matter who. They want to end this campaign so they can go back to engaging in Trump derangement syndrome. They want to go back to where it's easier for them, even though the easiest movement to be a part of is the Bernie Sanders movement. And that's not necessarily a compliment. It is the most talking, which is strategically, for the most part, it's smart, but it's the most talking point-based campaign with this amount of success that I have ever seen in my lifetime and that almost anybody else has seen. Unless you're like an FDR. Like the talking points. It was so easy to be a Bernie supporter. It was so easy to be a Bernie advisor, at least from that perspective. But they think it's easier, even more so, to just simply attack Trump, support Democrats because Republicans are so much worse, and not have to worry about the backlash that comes with supporting an outsider or a bare minimum going against the establishment. If you like that segment of Mi Casa es Su Casa, don't forget to like the video and smash that subscribe button. Want access to members only live streams, behind the scenes footage, and other premium content? Well, you can endorse us on Rockfin Premium, become a patron through Patreon, or you can sign up for the MCSC Premium membership through YouTube. All the links are in the description below. But hey, more than anything else,
more than anything else,
always remember,
find your balance.
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 Find your balance. Find your balance.
Always remember, more than anything else, find your balance.
peace.